Hello everybody, this is Sumadhur Shakya. Welcome to this learning session. I made this video to help and facilitate your learning. I hope you enjoy the video and find the information presented in this video as useful. Let the learning begin. Thanks. Okay, in this video we're going to learn about the location allocation or the application of the linear programming optimization into the transportation problem without having to do any coding. That the GIS lets us do it. Okay, so we'll be using the files that I've provided you on the course page. So let's get started with that. So the file, when we download this, it may look different, but on the course page, depending on what I named it. But this is the file I downloaded it. Now I'm going to extract it. And after extracting, this is where all the files have started to appear. So for the one folder back, I'm going to copy this and put it in the input folder that I created. Okay, so when I go back to the catalog view of the ArcGIS Pro, I will use the files. Okay, so they appear right away, so I don't have to refresh it, but it doesn't hurt. Okay, now just using ArcGIS Desktop Pro in the past, I'm going to recommend bringing these county edges only. The network file to be brought into the content pane, and well, it just needs to be there in the content pane, so then the analysis works without the hiccups. Okay, now while I'm here, I'm also going to make a bookmark so that I can come back to this mainland USA. And this is just out of the assignment part, just for the convenience level. And I want to see these edges. Now I'm gonna create this. Oops. Tri-county area. And okay, so that's about it. And uncheck this so that it doesn't take up unnecessary graphic processor load. And I'm going to explore these files. So the candidate location has data that looks something like this in the background, wherein I've created a unique ID. So there might be multiple places that are named same, but each point has a unique name to it that I can refer to it later on in the analysis. Okay. Similarly, when I talk about the hotels and hospital files, where is it? I have a unique ID that I can refer to. Okay. Some of them are hospitals, some of them are hotels. Similarly, for restaurant supermarkets, I've also created a unique ID that I can refer to each point. Okay, so the idea is that I'm going to use candidate city location that I'm trying to choose from. These hotels and hospitals are my demand points that I'm trying to serve, or I can be using the restaurants, supermarkets as my demand points. Okay, now the way you have to think about this is origin to destination. Instead, which origin is the best way? So it will calculate the distance to all the destinations given the criteria we will assign. Okay, so at this point I'm gonna uncheck these. I do want to see some sense of the counties. Okay, so yeah, so there I am. Now, to start analysis, there are multiple ways to do this. Either you can go to Analysis tab, click on Tools, and start typing Location Allocation. So it'll give you the layer options, making the location or solving the location, whichever. We'll start with making the layer, okay? Or you can go to Ready to Use Tools and then start using the Solve Location Allocation, okay? Or you can go to Network Analysis and then choose the location, okay? So I'm going to use this one, choose the best location. You can get to this through multiple ways, okay? They're just trying to make it easy. Now, once it is done, you will see this new layer in here. So there are a few things that need to be done. We will load the facilities and then load the demand points, set up the criteria, and then hit the solve button, okay? So first thing I'm going to do is to load the data into the facility. So let me pop up the load layer thing, okay? Now, in order to upload the data that I already provided to you into this, you can go to location allocation layer in here, and then import the facilities and the demand points. So they'll try to make it really easy compared to the desktop version, okay? So I'm going to import the facilities. And choose within inputs. Oh, I was just looking for the folder. So my bad. In the location allocation, we leave it as is. Then sub layer is the facility, and the input location is where we need to specify. Okay, so I'm going to go to the candidate because we are asking it to choose the facility. So out of multiple facility, which facility is the best one to serve the demand points? Okay, so that's how this is. This particular application has been presented. Okay, wherein we are choosing. Okay, now naming the facility, I will choose the unique ID because there might be multiple locations. That's why I showed you the attribute table for this. So if you look at this, there can be multiple Salinas, multiple Prunedale, or multiple Hollister. So the unique ID gives me the best option. Okay. Now, just explore search tolerance. I'm going to make this 5 miles just to make things easier. Okay. Come on. It didn't let me choose. 5 miles there. Okay. Now, all this is good. Facilities, yeah, use geometry. Yeah, use geometry is fine for now. Let me see anything else, and hit apply or OK. Okay, so now I see that it loaded those facilities. Okay. Now, similarly, I'm going to go to the location. The moment you select this tab will appear. Okay. So if I click here, see, it goes away. Then when you click on the location allocation layer, it comes back. Now I'm going to import the demand points. Okay. Again, all of this stays the same. The input location, I'm going to choose from here, the hotels and hospitals. You can use it this way. Okay. But because we added in the content pane, you can also use the drop down menu and choose it that way. Okay. It's totally up to you. In the field name, let me see what is the best field name that I should refer to. Hotels and hospitals attribute table. See, in the old days, I sound like an old guy, but in the desktop version, you had to get this on a different screen so then you could still keep viewing this screen. but that's okay. It's a good thing. It's a good development. So I'm going to refer this to as OSM ID because that's my unique name. I don't want to get confused with something that has more than one entry as a row, you know. So yeah. And then in the advanced tab, I'm going to use miles 5. Uh, this is just to make our life a little easier, not to run into unnecessary issues. Hit OK. Okay, now go back to location allocation. Now the facilities to choose right now, it's set as 1 towards the facilities. So from the demand points towards the facilities or away. So that's a setting. So for now, I'm going to choose towards the facilities. Um, so how many of these hotels and hospitals can come to one of the candidate locations? Okay. Now, let's see. I'm looking for the impedance. Okay, we will leave this as is. Linear is fine. Now I want to make sure that how is this travel setting going in this case. Okay, so make sure that this travel mode is driving. Impedance is M mile. I created this value deliberately to misspell so that I know this is not a system created value. M minutes is based on the distance that can be traveled at the rate of 35 miles an hour. Okay, that's an assumption to make things easy to get you started with the assignment. U-turns is okay. Anything in advance that I need to worry about? No. So that's all I wanted to make sure that the cost impedance is in distance and then the time. So it should first use the cost. Okay. Let's see. Everything else looks good. Spatial reference, just to be sure, is showing up USGS. Yes. Um, location. Okay, all looks good. This is important. Driving, and it has to be by miles and minutes. So make sure you do not use anything else like trucking. I mean, you can use trucking, would be nice, but definitely not use walking because then the time thing will not be useful for us. Okay, hit OK, and let's hit run. And if nothing is wrong, then we should start to see something sensible. Okay, I'll hit run. And at this point, you see all these line barrier, polygon barriers, and lines. So it chose one facility out of all the candidate location. Okay, this is one way to solve it. Now this is for the hotels and hospitals. You remember, we only gave it the hotels and hospitals. So if I make this a little bigger and uncheck this one and bring it hotels and hospitals, this is with all the hotels and hospitals in Monterey were. Okay, so that's what I gave as a demand point. So given all of these candidates, it gave me one of the location as the best one, which is this one. Okay, so at this point, instead of hotels and hospitals, I can remove all the demand points and then put in restaurants and supermarkets in there, which are a lot more, right? So instead of us solving this by linear programming, the software does it for us, given the parameters. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to show you how to export this first. I mean, there are things that you can make it look more fancier. And for example, you need to bring out the labels or the names to make it more informative. But at this point, this is what I will definitely export. Okay, export. Default, it'll put in a geodatabase to help with the data management, keep the size low. But I want to export it to outputs and name this as location allocation. You can name it whatever you want. Okay, I'm just using what makes sense to me so then I can recognize it later on. Solved. Oh really, it cannot access it. Let me figure this out. Why can it not access? Oh, I see. Let me go to, I thought I gave it a favorite. Yes, so within favorite, okay, if that's not the only thing, then it should work. Outputs, and what did I name it? Location allocation hotels hospitals solved. um, okay, the now let's explore what's happening in here. When I click on the attribute table, it shows me the length. Again, this will be in you have to know it if it's in feet or um, miles or meters and so on, and that is why this will depend on the default settings of the map document. Okay, so do not get carried over by this uh, the difference in terms of units, and that is why I created my own misspelled title from which it is deriving the total m miles. So now I know this is in miles. So total miles traveled for one particular route is at least 3.8 miles. So this definitely has to be in feet. Okay. Now, all this is there, and then let's look at the facilities layer. So out of all of this, there will be one facility that has been chosen. So you look at the demand count. This is the Marina 5 has been chosen as the best facility by this application under the given conditions. Okay, it's called as Marina 51. So if we go to the candidate city location, it'll be the Marina 51 that has 51 demand points that are being served. Everybody else is 0. Now, if we were to rerun this to choose 2 different facilities, then it'll be different. Okay, so let me first go to clear selection, and come back here. Yeah, so let's say if we were wanted to choose 2 selections, 2 facilities, we'll run again. Yeah, was something else chosen as well? Oh, that's some time back. Okay, no problem. So let's look at the demand points again, attribute table. So this time it chose how many facilities? It chose 2 of them, here and here. So let me sort it through this. Good. Okay, good, good. Cool. Yeah, so it shows these two facilities. Now, if I wanted to export this, then I'll again do the same thing like I did for the first one. Now, the fun thing would be, or the as a manager, you are interested in the total miles traveled. Okay. Now, this is from demand points towards the candidate location. See, towards the facility. So if we have to go back to the original one, so if we only have to choose one facility, then in that case, whatever the distance is being traveled by all the demand points to the facility times 2, that is how long it will take to travel from this depot or this candidate location to deliver anything to any of these locations. Okay, that is one thing. However, in reality, we may choose to do that we don't make one individual delivery to one location at a time. Once we leave the depot, we might want to serve multiple locations in a single go. In order to do that, we will be using vehicle routing problem, not the location allocation. But in this case, this application allows us to maximize the reach, maximize the market area in a way, okay? Or specifically saying this application of location allocation allocates every demand point to one facility that minimizes the total distance traveled, okay? So that's what you need to keep in mind. So once you're at this point, I mean, you can either keep it as is or you can bring in more um, stuff in the background, especially the other counties. So then more things are visible. Um, there will be separate videos for location allocation, which is this one, and then the vehicle routing problem, wherein the same truck can go to multiple places and then come back, and or how to make these network uh, layer that I create that I'm using to do the analysis. But for the purpose of this video, this is sufficient. Okay, at this point, you can come down to the layout and export the map. Okay, zoom into the appropriate layer. Come on. Um, oh, hold on one second. So let me try this one. Okay. Where's the hand tool? There used to be a hand tool. Okay. Now at this point, I can export this map minus the selection. So let me clear the selection thing. So I go there, um, um, attribute table. Yeah, clear selection. So nothing is selected. Okay, good. Now I'll come back to the layout. Okay. So if you want to change the, if you're satisfied with what we have at this point, um, then or I can also bring in my tri-county edges in the background if that makes more sense or makes it more appealing and so on, and make sure your legend is readable, references are there. um, I don't like this. um, Map frame property and so on. So I'm just going to copy this into text. And name this as USA CONTIGOUS Conti, oh come on, UOUGS contiguous L words equal area conic USGS. Okay, now I don't need this, therefore I will get rid of this and make it smaller and then put it down there and then export the map. Come on. There. Keep it hiding. And bring it here. Okay. Cool. So then I can go back to exporting the map. Make any changes if I want. I'm going to format. If not, then I'm ready to share, export layout, and choose the things that I may want to. Okay, yeah. So maps, I'm gonna say whatever you want to name it. And one, hotels and hospices. Hotels and hospitals. Transparent background. I will let me uncheck that transparent background. And then do it again. Cool. Perfect. Make sure you change the title on the top, yeah, assignment, whichever it refers to. That's all for this video. Thanks. Bye.